everybody, Lost in Space here. So I wanted to try something different today, and I decided to mix some ground beef mince and some pork mince together, and we're going to go ahead and make one of America's favorites, and that's the double cheeseburger macaroni. Now, I actually have not used ground pork very much. So we're going to go ahead and test this out. Last time I made it, it was actually pretty tasty. But I did not use the Hamburger Helper. I actually made a completely different meal. And I'm also using Angus beef. So we're going to test this and see how it works out. And I'm going to go ahead and brown this meat, and then we're going to start working on the Hamburger Helper, because it's supposedly supposed to make a really good meal. So if you're looking for a quick meal, but you're tired of doing the same thing, this is perfect. You can add pork and beef. We're going to try it and see what it's like. So the first couple of tips I want to talk about is this, is when you are cooking your beef for anything, if you're making something where you're putting mince in it, I always chop it up to a really small, fine piece. And for me and a lot of the people that I know, we actually like using a lot of pepper. So I actually put a lot of pepper in this to get that pepper flavor going. And this gadget right here is great for anything that you're doing for mince, whether you're making like a shepherd's pie, tacos, spaghetti sauce, chili, you name it. I've used this in many of my videos, and you can get this on the Amazon store, and it is the best. You can chop up everything so small. So we're going to go ahead and get this brown the rest of the way and get the other ingredients ready, so that way we can make this. And there's a couple more tips and tricks to come, but pepper is usually about the safest. It has a lot of salt in it already, but I like putting the pepper in it, and I even put more on top because I just love it that way. I grew up eating it that way. So, okay, another tip is when you are ready, we're going to go ahead, because of the pork, I use lean ground beef, but we're going to drain the grease. And I'll show you a nice trick when you're draining the grease and you don't want it to go down the sink. So I just have a bowl underneath. You can use any type of bowl, but that's what we're going to use for this. And as you can see, there actually is quite a bit of grease, but that's okay. We're draining it. We lost a little bit of it, but that's okay. It's all going to collect in the bowl. And the second tip with the grease is that if you don't drain the grease, it's going to actually make the color of the Hamburger Helper a different color. It's going to make it darker. And that's how much grease we got out of there. So for each... So there's 2 servings in here, 2 actual boxes. So we're going to use 4 cups of milk, and then basically 2 2/3 cup of hot water. Now, I love these measuring glasses. You can get these also on my Amazon store. These are 2-cup measuring glasses. I actually had a 4-cup one, and it's in the cupboard somewhere, so I'll have to look for that. But it makes it really nice. Okay, I added the milk in the water. We're going to go ahead and get this stirred up, and then I'm also adding the noodles to this all at once. So if I remember back in the day, when I used to make this, it used to be a 1-to-1 ratio with like a cup of milk and a cup of water. Now you can do some research and see if you can find some old boxes. And let me know. You can also let me know what you add to your Hamburger Helper to make it better. I may not have thought of something. But we're going to go ahead and let this cook down. And I cooked the meat for about, I think it was about 14 minutes is what I timed it at, because it was about 2 pounds, and it fried up just real nice. And I always fry that meat first. Works out really good. So we're going to go ahead and bring this to a boil. Once it boils, then we're going to let it simmer for about, well, it depends. So about 12 to 20 minutes in that time range. And again, your temperatures on your stove might be different than what I have. But even with the box instructions, it says about 8 minutes for 1 pouch. So we're going to go ahead and get this going and see what we can do. So I'm bringing it to a boil, and I just want to say, if you want to make a quick, easy meal at home, if you want a meal that you can just throw together over any day of the week, this is it. It doesn't actually cost too much. I think it cost probably about $10 total, and you could probably feed up to 8 people with this easily. The only thing you need to buy is the meat and the milk, and that's about it. It comes with everything else. Well, and you need the Hamburger Helper. So for quick, easy meals, quick, easy recipes, something you want to make at home, and you don't want to take a lot of time, this is actually a very hearty meal, and you can make it in less than probably 30 minutes. The only thing that I do is that for this part is you got to stir it. And look at that. It's turning that color that it needs to be. The other thing I want to talk about real quick while we have some time is I have this pan. This pan I have cleaned. I even have a video of me cleaning this pan. This pan is 20 years old. Now, I take really good care of my pans, but this pan is like my favorite pan of all time for making any type of like a noodle meal. It's great for cooking so many things. You can actually make tacos in this pan. So this is a Tefal saucepan I've had for like 20 years. It actually looks pretty clean. And it has been used. So now that we're boiling, we're going to turn this down lower, so that way nothing burns. And we're going to go ahead and let this simmer down. And then we're going to check this. I mean, this is a lot. So this is 2 boxes. I'm going to guess probably 12 to 20 minutes we're going to let this simmer. But you can let it simmer to the desired thickness that you want. So, and as you can see, it's thickening up really good. It's been 5 minutes. So we may just go for 10. I don't like the sauce runny. And you can make it however you like the texture. The other thing is you can also use different meat. If you want to use chicken or turkey, you can use chicken or turkey mince, or ground turkey, or ground chicken, if that's available in your area. Now, I have tried it with the ground turkey, and I will say that I actually am more of a beef man with this recipe. I think it was made for a hamburger, and that's why I made it with burger. I didn't feel right making it with 100% pork, but we're trying this. This is a new thing with a twist with the pork. And like I said, I made the minced pork in the beginning of this video with another dish, and it turned out great. So we're going to go ahead and let this cook down. Then we're going to get a bowl ready, and I'll show you how I top it. So with 2 boxes, I am actually now at the 11-minute mark, and I like my noodles soft. And these noodles, I just tasted them, and they are still a little raw. They're not fully cooked. The other thing I want to make clear is I used beef mince, 1 pound, and pork mince. Not pork sausage, but pork mince, 1 pound. So we're going to go ahead and let this simmer for probably another 5 minutes until the desired noodle tenderness, and then we're going to go ahead and put it in the bowl. Okay, the noodles are done, and if you don't tenderize the noodles and you don't cook it slow and for a while, you ain't gonna have any flavor in this. So make sure you cook it slow. Let it thicken. Don't be in a hurry. Sometimes we're starving. But let's go ahead and scoop this into a bowl now. So you can put in the comments how you like to eat yours. I like to top mine with cheese and pepper. It's so good. I also like to eat mine with a fork. So we're going to mix in the cheese and have a bite. As you can see, I'm going to probably burn my mouth and my face. And that's okay. It smells so good. And look at how creamy and thick that is. Can't get any better than that. So let's go ahead and try some of this. Wow, that is amazing. I'm not even kidding. Look how creamy and cheesy that is. I can actually taste the pork and the beef, and it tastes so good together. It worked perfectly. This is probably my new favorite go-to right now. So like and subscribe, hit that follow. Thank you very much, everyone. I'll post a link to the kitchen gadgets that you saw in my video in the description. Merry Christmas.